ExxonMobil is the world's largest petrochemicals company. It's involved with exploration, production, and retail of crude oil, petroleum products, and natural gas. It's headquartered in Irving, in Texas. Market cap, market cap here, $341.5 billion US, a PE ratio of 29.1, dividend yield of 3.8%.
It used to be the world's largest company. Its former CEO, Rex Tillerson, is currently the US Secretary of State with Donald Trump. So it's kind of the preeminent of the US companies. It came out of the evolution of the US oil industry, Standard Oil, and so on and so forth. I mean, it's a big operator, lots and lots of capital spending, lots of global fields.
It is, but if you look at that share price graph, and it's reflective of the underlying oil price, as we say.
Correct.
At $80 a barrel, where to from here?
Well, look, I mean,
$80 a share, not a barrel.
$80 a share. So ExxonMobil, it's all a very, very similar scenario for all these major oil companies that we'll talk about today. So we need to have a look, and we need to understand what sets ExxonMobil apart from the others. And their competitive advantage is they are completely integrated, but like to the hilt. So 80% of what they get from upstream developments actually goes into their downstream plants and gets refined, it gets turned into different kinds of chemicals and so on. So I think...
So this is a beautiful case of beneficiation.
Absolutely. So it's vertically integrated to the max, and I think that's where they could at least have a huge control over costs, and that's what they've been doing. So ExxonMobil's done incredibly well to reduce the cost to produce a barrel of oil down to as low as they can possibly do. The other theme that a lot of these oil companies are doing is they're cutting back on future expenditure, and that's where there might be a caveat to your original question for me is the floor going to be at 45? Well, what we're seeing is we're seeing the oil companies not spend that much money on future development, which means that if oil is still around as a huge demand bit of energy in the next 10 years, will there be enough supply? So oil prices could spike in the long term, but in the short term it looks like they're still going to be under some pressure.
Rex Tillerson having been deployed to the Trump administration, who's running the company now?
There's a guy called Darren Woods who's the CEO, but interestingly, Tillerson is now responsible for the US's relationship with Russia. ExxonMobil, amongst its other ventures, recently had a joint venture with Gazprom to get involved with some oil tapping reserves in Russia. So I don't know what's going to happen there. I mean, right now the Russians and the Americans are having one of those bad
You're not the only person who doesn't know what's going to happen. So
because
I think
Trump's
you're in good company.
Putin's buddy, but he's signing sanctions laws and so on and so forth. I don't know. I mean, this company has done tremendous work. As Nick says, they can, de-emphasize their higher cost production assets and emphasize those that work a little bit better. So I think they're doing what they need to do in the current environment, because there's no alternative. You can't base your business on the idea that oil prices are going to go higher.
Can we call it hot or not, Nick?
I'm still going to go not for this one.
I'm
not
hot.
No.
Paul?
Paul's going to go hot on this.
No, I'm going to go not hot too. I just think that we could well see a period of sustained to slightly lower oil prices, at which point it becomes very difficult to get excited about these companies, even though they've got great operational flexibility with 25 billion barrels of oil equivalent reserves and a daily production of about 4 million barrels a day. I want you to remember those numbers.
Are you sure? Million and billion? Or do you?
Because
sorry, say them again.
We're going to compare them in a minute to Saudi Aramco. So
you
we've got
so
25 billion barrels of oil reserves, which they could tap, and 4 million barrels a day, which is about
so
sort of
25
6 or 7%
billion, 4
of
million,
global
is that
production.
right?
25 and 4.
But
yes.
billion and million.
Billion and million, yes.
Have you got that?
I'm so confused right now.
I hope we've got our billions and millions right. Anyway, so that was a double not hot from both Paul and Nick.
We agreed on something.
Yes, we did.